Welcome back to the Georgia Grown Kitchen. I'm Jessica Bedore here with Haley Payne, and today we're going to talk about Thanksgiving. Are you getting excited for the Thanksgiving holiday?
I'm very excited. It's one of my favorite holidays.
Me too. Well, today we wanted to just remind everybody that it's really important to make food safety part of your Thanksgiving recipe, because you don't accidentally want to give your family or friends a foodborne illness on Thanksgiving because you improperly cooked something or you left it out on the counter for too long. So we're going to just talk about a few food safety tips.
So can you tell me what are the symptoms of a foodborne illness?
That's a good question. So foodborne illness happens when either bacteria, viruses, or parasites harmfully contaminate your food products. And the symptoms can range from anywhere like a little minor tummy ache, which you could also get from eating too much, of course, we know, up to you could end up having diarrhea, you could be vomiting. And it's especially important for small children and elderly adults. You don't want them to end up getting sick because the symptoms can be more severe in them versus healthy people like you and me.
That would definitely ruin a holiday.
It would definitely ruin your holiday. So we'll start off with a clean kitchen, clean hands, and we'll make sure that all of our food prep areas are clean. So this way we make sure that we're not doing any cross-contamination before we start cooking.
Okay.
So we can start by washing our hands.
Sounds good. Now, is there a special trick to making sure your hands are really clean?
You want to make sure you're washing with warm water and soap like we are, and for about 20 to 30 seconds.
Okay.
That's about it. Thank you. And do you mind just wiping down the counter for us?
So you can use any, like Clorox, bleach, baking soda.
Yeah, you want to use either bleach and water or one of your favorite kitchen cleaners, or you could even just use hot soapy water with a clean dish rag to get started. This way your kitchen is clean before you even do anything.
Okay.
So I think we can go ahead and get the turkey out. So the best way for you to thaw your turkey is in the refrigerator, and you want to put it on the bottom shelf. This way, this turkey has been sitting out thawing for a little while, so we've already got some juices from the turkey that have spilled out, and you don't want those to spill all over your refrigerator. So you just put it in a pan on the bottom of the fridge. And it's going to take a long time to thaw a turkey. People sometimes forget that it's such a big bird. You want to make sure that you have enough time. And on average, for every 4 to 5 pounds of turkey that you have, you're going to want to thaw it for 1 day. So this is a 12-pound turkey, so we've had it in the refrigerator now for about 3 days to make sure that it was fully thawed. We wanted to be sure. So you just want to make sure you have enough time to completely thaw it.
So the bigger the turkey, the longer it takes to thaw?
If you have a 24 or 25-pound turkey for a huge family, that could take up to a full week to thaw. So you want to make sure that you have enough time for it to sit in your refrigerator so that the inside has completely thawed out.
Okay, and what if I don't have enough room? Like, you're making all these side dishes, plus you're making the turkey. I have a very small fridge. So can I thaw it on my counter, or is there another way?
You definitely don't want to leave it out and thaw it on the counter. I know that's tempting because it will speed up the process, but what it does is it ends up not thawing uniformly. So it'll start to thaw on the outside, but the inside will still be frozen. So if you need to thaw it another way, you can thaw it in your kitchen sink, and you can just have it under cold running water. And again, it will still take time. For this 12-pound turkey, it will take about 6 hours to fully thaw, because on average it's going to take you about 30 minutes per pound. So you want to give yourself enough time.
So is there anything we need to do to the turkey to prep it before we put it in the oven? Or?
So once it's thawed, that's a really good question. A lot of times people will forget that inside the turkey you've got the neck and the giblets. So you want to go ahead and pull those out before you stick it in the oven, because keeping those in there can change the time it takes to cook the turkey.
Okay.
So I think we're ready to put it in now.
Ready?
Here, let me get I'll get it for you.
What temperature does the oven need to be at?
So we've preheated this oven at 325 degrees, and that's really your optimum temperature to cook your turkey at.
Okay, well, how long does it usually take? Is there like an estimated time or?
Well, the package that your turkey comes in should give you a couple guidelines for how long to cook it for, depending on how big it is. On average, it'll probably take between 15 to 20 minutes per pound, but that also depends on how you cook it. So if you decide that your roasting pan has a lid and you want to keep the lid over it, then that could speed up the process. Whereas if you just put a little foil tent over your turkey, that could actually slow the process down.
Okay.
So it's really important that when you think it's done, you take it out and you go ahead and check the internal temperature, and you want to make sure that that's 165 degrees all the way around the turkey.
Okay, so if I have, like, I'm going maybe to my aunt and uncle house to have Thanksgiving dinner with them, can I partially cook my turkey the night before?
That's another tempting idea, but that is also something that you don't want to do, because if a turkey is going to sit at a low temperature in your oven for a long time, what ends up happening is that it's sitting at a perfect temperature for bacteria to start growing really rapidly, and that could end up contaminating it. So you want to make sure that it's set at 325 degrees to cook your turkey. This way it's fully cooked all at one time, and you could always fully cook it and then bring it and reheat it. That's always another option.
And you mentioned checking the internal temperature. Is there like a specific area?
There is. We actually have a finished turkey right here that we can go ahead and test.
Okay.
And we've got a food thermometer, a meat thermometer that we've got. So if you want to go ahead and test it, what you'll want to do once you take it out of the oven is test it right in the thigh, in between the breast and the thigh here. You want to stick the thermometer right in between the bone, so it's not touching bone and it's just in between the meat. And you want to make sure that reads 165. And you can test it again in one of the thickest parts of the breast. And also in the wing joint. So if all of those are reading 165 degrees, then you know that your turkey's completely done. Well, I think we're ready to eat, and we've got our dressing over here as our other side that we've prepared.
Sounds good.
And we checked that to make sure that that was at 165 degrees, so I think we're good to go. Are you ready to eat?
I'm ready to eat. It smells so good.
So when you have your dinner with your family, what do you usually do? How do you usually put out the food?
We usually do like a family style. We all sit around the table, and we just set the table and pass food around, and we eat it all.
Nice. My mom used to always do it as a buffet style. So we would have hot plates with the turkey sitting on the hot plate. And so it's good to remember that if you are going to put it out on a buffet line, that you want to keep the turkey hot. You want to keep hot foods hot and cold foods cold. And in your case, with your family putting it all out on the table, which sounds wonderful, you just want to make sure that it doesn't sit out for too long on your table, because as it sits out at room temperature, your hot food's getting colder and your cold food's getting warmer, and that can start to lead to bacteria growth too.
Okay, so is there a specific time limit that you need to make sure you put the food back in the fridge?
A good general rule is about 2 hours. So that gives you plenty of time from when your turkey comes out of the oven before you need to go ahead and start packing it up for leftovers.
Okay, and is there a specific way you pack up the leftovers, or is there, a technique?
Well, I know you mentioned you had a small fridge, so
yes.
The best way to actually pack it up is to break it down so you could get all your leftovers ready for sandwiches and whatnot. Mm-hmm. This way you have some smaller packages that you can put in your fridge. And then you'll want to eat those in about 1 to 3 days if they last that long. And if not, then you'll want to just put them in the freezer on the 3rd day.
Okay, sounds good.
It does sound good. Well, from the Georgia Department of Agriculture family to yours, we want to wish you a very happy and safe Thanksgiving.